Kenyatta is expected to leave the country anytime now for London to attend the Somalia conference. Now, this is a move that is expected to cause ripples in European diplomatic circles that have pledged to only have essential contact with him since he stands accused by the International Criminal Court. And the world will be watching keenly the reaction to Uhuru's presence in London. And this incident may signal a major shift in policy for European countries grappling with how to treat Kenya given her regional superiority. Could we see Europe look for new options in the region, or will they just have to play ball with Kenya? Well, we'll be discussing this and more on Checkpoint tonight, including this question: has KOTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli gone too far? Well, many Kenyans love him for his defense of workers, but his recent support of a push by MPs to have their salaries increased led to an ugly scene during Labour Day celebrations, where a photo activist was allegedly beaten by his guards. Well, is it time to rein in on this man Atwoli? Well, Professor Edward Kisiangani, Advocate Moses Kuria, and activist Benjamin Dolo are here tonight for what promises to be an explosive debate. Let's start this bulletin by taking a look at our top stories.
Do a postmortem. That was much a surprise, and you said that we have agreed on something, and we are not told what we have agreed. You know, you still, in fact, it's worse than not doing a postmortem.
The long wait for Mutula autopsy results, why experts are becoming suspicious. Britain's big U-turn as President Uhuru jets off to London. Court Jubilee battle over Parliament committees threatens to paralyze House business. And report on historical injustice is ready, but where is the President to receive it? Well, thank you very much for making time to join us tonight. Former Chief Government Pathologist Dr. Jeffrey Mutuma Zambezi is questioning the delay in the releasing of the autopsy results of the late Makueni Senator Mutula Kilonzo. Dr. Zambezi has termed as suspect the 8 to 10 weeks period for the release of the results as given by pathologists who examined Mutula's body. Now, according to him, there is no reason as to why any autopsy results should not be able to be released at least in 72 hours. KTN's Angel Katusia opens our KTN Sunday Night Bulletin tonight with this story.
Hours after the mysterious death of Makueni Senator Mutula Kilonzo, investigations into his sudden death kicked off. Police and medical experts collecting all possible samples from his bedroom where his body was found. 4 days later, a post-mortem examination was conducted on the body of Mutula, an examination that was delayed to allow an independent foreign pathologist from the UK to arrive into the country. The family said this was to ensure the findings of the autopsy were accurate and precise. After a 5-hour examination on the body, the 7 pathologists announced they had agreed on the findings.
As I've said here, we are all in agreement of the postmortem findings. We have to be patient, wait for the results, and we have to take some samples which might take about 8 to 10 weeks. So I beg your patience for us to conclude this exercise.
It is this supposed consensus among the pathologists that is now being disputed. Forensic expert Dr. Zambezi Mutuma says this is alien.
You have to tell the people that I did the postmortem and then the body was normal, everything, all the organs were normal, so there was nothing I found. That's gross examination. And then with that, actually you can lay anxiety of many people, because once you give any report, but when you do a postmortem, that was much a surprise, and you said that we have agreed on something, and we are not told what we have agreed. You know, you still, in fact, it's worse than not doing a postmortem.
Came purely as an independent pathologist for the family. One thing I can say at this stage is that all of us agreed with the findings, and there was no disagreement at all.
The team of the government pathologist is said to have taken over 39 samples. Mutuma says from his experience, all those samples are not necessary.
The maximum you can take is 10. Now we are told the specimen they have 52 or they are 100 tests. What are they taking? Is this specimen for one person or from different people?
The former government pathologist speaking out on an issue that has had Kenyans talking since Mutula's death. Just why would the results take this long? Police have recorded statements from those who interacted with Mutula in his final moments at his Manzoni home before his body was discovered. Reports are now emerging that police recorded a statement from a mysterious person who is said to have been in the house. Could this mysterious person be the key to unlocking Mutula's sudden death? Angel Katuse, KTN, Sunday night.
Well, tonight, President Uhuru Kenyatta is leaving for the United Kingdom to attend a 3-day summit on Somalia. This will be the president's first official visit outside Africa. KTN's Asha Mwilu now reports on the intrigues of this visit and why it is viewed as a test of Kenya's relations with her traditional ally.
UK travels to the UK. That's a headline not many expected to see, at least not a month after President Uhuru Kenyatta's inauguration. But it's now the shocker that has got tongues wagging across the globe. The president is leaving the country for London to attend the crucial summit on Somalia, and his invite was as official as they get. A written letter delivered to the president by Christian Turner, the British envoy to Kenya. The invitation has sent the international community spinning with speculation. It has been viewed as a complete U-turn by the UK, which had earlier stamped its position of not engaging leaders with pending cases in the International Criminal Court.
The position of my government and others is that we do not have contact with ICC indictees unless it is essential.
Could the UK now be changing tact on her perceived weakening relationship with Kenya? The game changer is Kenya's proximity to Somalia. The country is viewed as a strategic and vital partner in stabilizing the war-torn country that is slowly rising from the ashes. Over 5,000 Kenyan troops are in Somalia to flush out the extremist Al-Shabaab group and to help reconciliation. In addition, Kenya hosts more Somali refugees than any other country does. But that's not the only pressure weighing in on Britain. The East is already getting cozy with the newly elected government. In fact, China sent a powerful delegation to Uhuru's inauguration last month. Britain, on the other hand, was represented by her High Commissioner, a low-key official by China's standards.
We must remember that no country or group of countries should have control or monopoly on international institutions or the interpretation of international treaties.
While Britain's new move to soften its glance on President Uhuru is seen as strategic, the change of tune has not been welcomed by everyone. International press did not hide under subtle headlines on this one. Sky News in particular hit a high note with their title of the story that described Kenya's president as criminal. But as the 3-day summit begins in London, Kenya's fluctuating relationship with the West, led by Britain and the United States, is set to hit many more headlines. Asha Mwilu, KTN, Nairobi.
Interesting times for diplomacy. We'll be back to that conversation later with my panelists on Checkpoint. But let's move on now to Parliament. And there is trouble brewing in the National Assembly as rival Jubilee and Court Alliance MPs lock horns over the control of 2 key parliamentary committees. Now, Court, which will have the chairmanship of the Public Investments and Public Accounts Committees, is threatening to boycott parliamentary business until it is given a majority in those committees. The row could delay the budget-making process. And now, as KTN's Rita Tanina reports, it will be up to the National Assembly Speaker to give a ruling on the way forward if CORD boycotts parliamentary committees.
Before the National Assembly concluded business on Thursday, Speaker Justin Muturi directed majority and minority leaders Aden Duale and Francis Nyenze to table the list of members to parliamentary committees on Tuesday.
How you arrive at that, I will leave it to your own mechanisms, body chemistries, because I am not part of it. But it is important that the House debates the names of members here on Tuesday.
But the House is staring at a deadlock over the membership of 2 crucial committees, the Public Accounts and Public Investments Committees. Traditionally, the committees have been chaired by the opposition. The Jubilee side has already ceded the chairmanship of the PIC and PAC to CORD. Jubilee has also surrendered 3 of its 17 positions in the committees, giving CORD 13 members instead of 10 in each of the 2 committees. With 14 members for Jubilee and 13 for CORD, Jubilee has the majority in the 27-member committees.
Kwa hivyo nawaomba ile wamepewa na tumewaonea huruma wachukue roho safi ndio tuweze kuendelea na shughuli za bunge.
CORD MPs are now threatening to boycott parliamentary business if Jubilee does not allow the minority to have the majority numbers in the committees.
Nawaambia hata wakiondoka, sisi tuko na wajumbe 216, tutabaki pale na tuweze kufanya transactions zote za bunge hata kama CORD hawatakuwa.
CORD argues that Jubilee cannot play an oversight role over government and now wants control of the oversight committees. Jubilee, however, argues it has not broken any role since positions in committees are shared proportionately according to party strength in parliament, and therefore its majority in the House should be reflected in the committees.
Vile Mungu aliona Jubilee ipeo viongozi wengi, hata hizo kamati waache kulilia wachukue.
The stalemate over the 2 crucial committees may delay the start of the budget-making process. The 1 trillion shilling budget estimates were tabled before the House last Thursday. The estimates ought to be forwarded to relevant House committees this week. But with CORD declining to forward its list of members to over 20 parliamentary committees until it gets control of the PAC and PIC, the budget may be derailed, and the Speaker of the National Assembly may be called upon to give direction on whether or not Jubilee, which can garner the minimum numbers required, can go on with business as usual in the House if CORD makes good its threat to boycott parliamentary business. Rita Tinina, KTN.
Some unfortunate news now, and at least 6 people have been killed in a banditry attack in Narok West. 3 residents, including 2 brothers, were shot dead by bandits alleged to be from the Sonjo community of Tanzania. The brothers had gone out to inspect their cattle pen after hearing some commotion when they were attacked and killed last night. The residents in turn killed 3 of the attackers after pursuing them as they tried to flee. Well, the 2 communities that share a border have had a long-standing dispute that is largely based on land and in particular pasture grounds. Residents say that such attacks have become rampant and are now calling for security to be beefed up in the area. Let's move on now. And the National Civil Society Congress, under the banner Jukwaa la Katiba, is asking the Office of the President to immediately receive and make public the findings of the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission. Now, this follows reports that the Kiplagat-led commission has failed to secure a date with President Uhuru Kenyatta to hand over its long-awaited report. Betty Kyalo has the details.
As the country awaits the unveiling of the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission report on gross human rights violations and other historical injustices in Kenya, concern is rising over the Office of the President's alleged reluctance to receive the report.
The duty to receive the report is a legal and statutory obligation. It cannot be a ceremonial duty. The purpose of the President receiving the report is so that he can facilitate it to be published and disseminated to Kenyans. Mr. Kenyatta's failure to receive the report is illegal and may constitute grounds for his impeachment.
TJRC CEO Tom Shavangi, however, says his commission is ready to present the report to the President as soon as he jets back from the United Kingdom. Shavangi, who spoke to KTN via phone, described the report as a masterpiece that will detail Kenya's dark past regarding historical injustices and human rights violations. The commission that has been dogged by controversies during its term led the inquiry into gross human rights violations and other historical injustices in Kenya between 12 December 1963 and 28 February 2008, when the National Accord was signed. The report is divided into chapters based on key violations, including those related to land, massacres, torture, economic crimes, economic marginalization, and ethnic violence. The report is expected to outline findings and make recommendations that will aim at contributing towards lasting peace, national unity and reconciliation among the people of Kenya. After TJRC presents the report to President Uhuru Kenyatta, it is legally bound to make the findings available through 3 national newspapers. The report must also be tabled before Parliament strictly within 21 days. For KTN, I'm Betty Kyalo.
Well, the war on illicit brews is going on with some success. Let me take you to Kiambu County now, and dozens of people have been arrested there as police crack the whip on brewers and merchants of illicit brews. The arrests were made in a raid conducted by over 100 police officers that were drawn from 2 counties. Suspected Mungeki adherents were part of those arrested in that raid.
Fight against illicit brews in central Kenya is intensifying, this time in Gatundu's notorious Omugudhoko Chang'aa breweries, where over 4,000 liters of illicit alcohol were netted in a raid conducted by over 100 police officers from Murang'a and Kiambu counties. The police also confiscated 50 jerrycans and 20 drums used in brewing the